art students. Today we are going to learn about Vincent van Gogh and one of his famous paintings called A Starry Night. So here is a picture of my rendition of A Starry Night. Attached to this email is an actual picture of what his art looks like, his picture. So your parents can open that up for you and you can use that as a template or example while you're working on this project. An interesting fact about this painting, I looked it up online. It is estimated, and an estimate is like a guess. So they're guessing that the money it's worth is $100 million, which is a lot of money. Can you imagine painting a picture and years later having it worth that much money? I can't. But let's get started. You're gonna need your copy of A Starry Night. You're going to need your watercolor paints, a paintbrush, some crayons, a little bowl with water. I always like to put my project on some scrap paper so I don't get paint on the surface of whatever I'm painting. So you probably should lay that down to protect the table. The first thing I want you to do with your project is look at the picture that's attached to this video or this email, and then also watch the 4-minute video that I also attached with some information about Vincent van Gogh. So after you have done that, you're gonna take your picture and take your crayons and color part of the picture. So not all of it. I don't want you to color the whole thing. I only want you to color some highlights of it, because after you color it, you're gonna actually paint over it. So we're gonna do 2 different things to this picture. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of what I mean as an example. So in the original picture, part of the moon here is very yellow. So I would take my yellow crayon and color that in nice and dark, but only the moon part, not the whole thing. And then maybe I would go around and add some yellow in the stars, but not all of them. And not coloring it to the very outside edge, just a little bit here and there. Now in this picture, there's a lot of blues and greens, light and dark. So I'm gonna take some blue and I'm gonna color it around the background. But I'm gonna leave some of the white of the paper showing through. So I'm gonna do that around the whole picture. Now I'm not gonna color this whole thing, so you don't have to sit and watch me do it. But I'm gonna add in my details. If you see on this picture that's already done, so I colored this in with green and a little bit of brown. I added yellow crayon down here, some blue crayon. I colored darker, some brown down here. I added a little orange and yellow. And then I did actually color the background with a blue crayon lightly. When I'm done with that, I'm not gonna color all of it because I want parts of it left as paper. Then I'm gonna paint over the crayon. So I'm gonna do the moon and I'm gonna show you. The crayon's gonna make your paint look a little bit waxy or like it's not gonna stick, but you're gonna just paint right over top of it. It'll work, it'll dry that way. I'll do some of the stars and then I'll do a part of the sky to show you what I mean. So if you see that, it's gonna drip a little. It doesn't quite stick because on the waxy parts, but that's okay. That's gonna give your picture some character or different definition. Okay, now I'm gonna take my blue and I'm gonna put it right over the crayon part that I colored. Now it kind of doesn't wanna stick to it, and that's okay. I'm just gonna do my best to spread that color around. mix that in. I can dilute it a little more by adding more water, or if I want it darker, which in this picture there is a lot of darker gray and blue and almost black looking, so I could actually add more color to the picture. So see how that works? When I colored right over the crayon, it actually blends pretty well. So that's how I want you to do this whole picture. Of course, you're gonna have to let it dry. I'll let you look at this one more time. Once it's finished, you'll have to give it a little bit of time to dry, but I added a little more color in mine than the original. It has more color variation in my picture than the actual Vincent van Gogh, the Starry Night picture. Get creative. You can actually do this if you'd like to add more colors to your picture than the original, that's fine. But the attachment just gives you a good example of foundation to start from, and use it to give you some ideas. So have fun, be creative, enjoy, until I see you next week.